Yeah, great.
Only better than yourself, if that makes any sense.
Yes, certainly. Well, as BC said, I did a stint in the military. I was in the Army National Guard. I was actually coming out of AIT when I finally met BC. That was in March of 2003. It was March 2003. That was your graduating year.
Yeah.
That's when we met. And so I was a network system operator in the Army National Guard. I did that for 6 years. And kind of going with that, I studied at University of North Texas. Go Eagles.
No.
I know they suck. Come on.
Go Mavericks.
So I studied economics up there. I completed my degree, got married. I worked for a large financial service firm in pursuit of my certified financial planner mark currently right now. So that's kind of going on with my life. So that's I grew up in a family of five. It was 5 of us. A single family home.
I bet you guys are fighting over Skittles.
Man, we couldn't afford Skittles.
Couldn't afford Skittles.
Yeah, we were fighting over. You remember Tiger Cake?
Tiger Cake.
Zebra Cake.
Zebra Cake. I remember Zebra Cake.
I guess that was probably only in the hood, man. They had Tiger Cake.
Tiger Cake.
You're like the Zebra Cakes have like the white with the black stripes.
Oh yeah, right.
Tiger stripes, you can imagine, had the chocolate with the orange stripe.
The chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't remember Tiger Cakes. You remember Tiger Cakes?
You can okay. So I guess you can get them other places in the hood. Yeah. So that's Tiger Cakes. That's what we would kind of cut them down in half. Because it was a pretty big cake. You can probably cut them down in half.
Yeah. I remember
quarters.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So that's kind of a little bit about myself. I'm married to a beautiful woman, Colleen. She knows your wife, and she's a great woman. We're also expecting our first child in September.
Man, seriously?
Yeah. You know that.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
So yeah, we're expecting our first child in September. It's going to be a boy.
Oh, a boy, huh?
Well, you probably didn't know this. But, no, I think it's weird. My wife was looking at some baby magazine, and the baby magazine said of this little test you can actually take.
Right.
So we haven't had actually, a sonogram or anything that just kind of tells you what the baby's going to be.
Right.
But it's this test you can take. Now, I'm thinking it has some credibility because it's in a baby magazine. And this is like a authoritative baby magazine.
Authoritative, so it's the the number one.
I didn't say
authority. It's a prominent magazine.
I mean, it's not a tabloid magazine.
Oh, okay.
So it has some type of credibility, that you can actually. Well, anyway,
baby models.
This adds further credibility to it.
Okay,
you can actually get this at your local drugstore like that. CVS or Excerpt. Well, no, Excerpt doesn't exist.
That's credible.
CVS or Walgreens, right? And it's this thing. So you take, a woman takes, some fluids and they put in this thing, and depending on what color it turns, will determine if it's going to be a boy or a girl. And it's a 90% accuracy.
Well, great.
That's not. It's going to either stay the same color or it's going to turn green.
Okay. It's going to turn green?
It turns green if it's a boy.
Oh, so what it turn?
It turned green.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be a boy. With a 90% accuracy. I'm a numbers guy.
90?
I mean, you can't get any better. Well, you can get better than 9%. You get 99 or close to 100%, but that's not right.
Yeah.
90%.
Numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah, 9% is pretty. Now, we can fall in that 10%, but, I'm pretty confident, hopefully, that we will have a boy.
Yeah. That's what we're having. We're having a boy also.
So our kids will play with each other.
Yeah.
My kid will most likely beat up your kid.
No. There's baby steroids, you know that, right?
I'm gonna have my kid in karate. He's gonna kick some butt.
Karate.
Tomato, man.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Well, so you say you have a kid, right? So, what kind of, who do you want your kid to model after? In terms of, who's a good role model for your kid?
That's a good question, BC.
I mean,
the jury's still out on that one.
Well, why is that?
Because, I'm not really big in these mythical characters. As far as who our kids will become, and I just want him to be a good person. Kind of going along with that, I was driving to work a few Saturdays ago, and I was listening to this radio station, and it was this guy. No, it was great. This guy,
quote unquote radio
I
station.
can't remember his name. It was a radio station. It was I can't even remember the channel, but I was going to work, and the guy, man, he was a photojournalist. He was a photojournalist, and he traveled all the world, around the world. I think he went to like 18 different countries, and he like on $15 a week or something like that.
$15 a week.
It was something ridiculous.
Wow.
But the guy was taking some great photos. Photojournalists, right?
Right.
And but the guy was talking about the Rwanda. It's this village that he went to Rwanda. They lived on less than $2 a week. And he said that in their schools they had to take a pen and paper at school that they couldn't get in class, and that was a big burden financially for some of these kids. And one little girl had this crumbled up piece of paper. That was her tablet. And so the guy, it just kind of baffled him. So he kind of did this little fundraising, raised some money, and got him, things. But he just said in his travels, going to some of the more economically deprived areas in the world, the third world countries, so to speak, that he learned a lot about life.
Right.
And that the true treasure to life was about people, human interaction. And in that experience, he said he wasn't so much. He didn't get caught in the material world. If he was a part of that, then he no longer placed a value on that. And so, if my kid can take away some of that wisdom and just be a good person, I don't really care, what he does as far as how much money he makes or the quote unquote what success means.
Well, you want your kid to take care of you, right?
I
mean, when you get older,
Hopefully, me and my wife are gonna hold that down. Our kids want to take care of it.
Oh, well, you're probably one of the few people who have that, because a lot of parents now have to, their kids are taking care of them.
Well, I guess we have to do first differentiate what we're actually talking about from a health standpoint or from a financial standpoint.
Also from financial, because remember, it's a recession now, and a lot of people lost their money.
Funny thing you brought that up. I am in financial services, so I probably have some insight on that. Yeah and no. I mean, the thing about it is, I can't believe we're getting into this conversation. But no. Let me add to that, because if you do it right. As far as the recession, if you do it right, and you're, when you start getting to that age when you actually need people to so-called take care of you, which can be kind of like in your latter 70s, 80s, so forth and so on. If you did it right and you saved and you live within your means and you build a nest egg, this recession wouldn't have done anything to you, because mainly if you were that old of a person, you wouldn't have been invested in the things that would have been impacted by the market anyway, which would be like stocks and stuff like that, mainly. That's where we've seen all the depreciation in values in your equity market. So if you were in bonds did great in 2008, so they didn't do as bad. If you were invested in bonds, that's probably where you should be. If you were 80 years old, probably you should be kind of more going towards the income as opposed to being some aggressive asset allocation. Then you probably wouldn't. You'd probably still be able to take care of yourself. But most people don't do it that way, as you say. And
because a lot of people are in options. A lot of people were in options.
A lot of people. No.
Well, I had a buddy.
Yeah.
And he lost a lot of money to options.
Okay. Well, what kind of education your buddy had?
Same one as you.
No. What I mean by that is options is usually used for more sophisticated investors.
Yeah, he was. I guess he was a pretty sophisticated investor.
Most investors aren't sophisticated. Most investors do not use options because of that very reason. It's just not a thing that most people use. And then when they do use options, they're going to use a very income generating type of option, like writing covered calls and things like that. But I know that's beyond the scope of this show. but they're not gonna be writing bear spreads and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. That's usually gonna be for your gunslingers, your guys that have that type of risk tolerance. Most people aren't gonna know what an option is, man. Quite honest with you. So That's not how most
But let's get back to what we were talking about.
Okay.
Talking about, you know, who's your role model? Who you want as a role model for your kids? You know.
I would say it's like I don't know if I want to necessarily say who I want my kids to be like per se. As far as you know, I just want them to have tenacity and character and be the type of kid